Welcome to an example in which we are starting with this polynomial, and they're telling us one of the x-intercepts is -4, and they want us to write the polynomial p in factored form as a product of linear factors. So they want us to write it out like this, and that's not the answer, but kind of like that all broken down. How do we do that? Well, let me give you an example. It's like if I said, hey, take the number let me see, 30, and break it down. And I said, by the way, 5 goes in. I gave you one of those. They're giving us one of the numbers that goes in, and they're starting us with a polynomial. So you go, oh, what would you do? You'd go, oh, okay, 5 goes into 30 6 times, remainder 0, of course. So that means it's 5 times 6. But you wouldn't stop there. The 5 is done, but then you'd break down the 6 to be 2 times 3. And so you'd say, okay, so the 30 is 5 times 2 times 3. These are multiply here. 5 times 2 times 3. That, 5 times 2 is 10, times 3 is 30. That's the breakdown of a 30. Well, that's kind of like what we're supposed to do with this x cubed polynomial. Break it down into 3 things that would multiply to go back. And we're starting with the one they gave us. So the first thing we do, here's the notes for this material. So here's the notes. And what does it say first? It says, perform synthetic division for the first, whatever they give you first, do this synthetic division. And after you do that, now solve the remaining by the quadratic formula. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to come down here and go, okay, synthetic division time. So here we go. And grab that -4. And boom, bring it over here. -4. And then let's bring down the coefficients. So this is 1x cubed. This is 4x squared. This is 9x, and this is 36. Okay, then remember how this works? You take the first one, you bring it down, and then -4 times 1 is -4. And then you add these guys up. 4 -4 is 0. And then -4 times 0 is 0. And then add these up. 9 and 0 is 9. And then -4 times 9 is -36. Add these up. 36 and -36 is 0 remainder. You know you're going to get a 0 remainder because you're dividing by -4, which they said is one of the x-intercepts, meaning it's one of the things that goes in there. Okay. So what does that mean we've got so far? So the leftovers, this is 1x squared plus 0x plus 9. Notice it starts out at x squared. Why? Well, because the original polynomial was x cubed, and we just took its coefficients here and then divided. So the answer we get is going to be 1 degree lower. When you divide something, you get an answer lower, right? So we started with x cubed. We divided, and we're down to x squared now. Just like when you start with 30 and divide by 5, you get 6, something lower. Now, so that's step 1. So let me write that in. So step 1, what did we just do? We just did synthetic division. So synthetic division. Okay, and now for step 2. Step 2, we're going to do the quadratic formula on the remainder that's left, 1x squared plus 0x plus 9. Do the quad. So identify in the quad, identify the A, the B, right? A is 1, B is 0, C is 9. Let's go to the quad. You know the quad, right? Right here. Right here. So what's the quadratic formula say? Negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So, okay, so what's that going to be then? That's going to be negative, and then plug in the b. The b is 0. 0 squared plus or minus, not squared, huh? I blew that. Negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2a. A again is 1. So there we go. Plug this stuff in. What does that give us? Well, that gives us 0, right? Negative 0, that's just 0. Plus or minus the square root of 0 squared, which is 0. Negative times positive is negative. Minus, what's that? 36 all over 2. And so that is 0 plus or minus the square root. Oops, wasn't a very good square root. The square root of negative 36 all over 2. Now, what do you do with that negative sign? That negative sign inside of a root comes out as an I. It's gone, right? So this is 0 plus or minus I root 36 all over 2. And that, the 0, you can just get rid of that. It's not doing anything. So it's just plus or minus I. And what's the square root of 36? It's just 6 over 2. And then that's plus or minus 3i, right? 2 goes into 6 3 times. Plus or minus 3i. So those are the other two factors. So the roots. Those are the other two roots. So the roots now. So now we have 3 roots. Let's write it out. So the 3 roots or zeros or x-intercepts. All those are synonymous. Are the original one they gave us, which was right here, negative 4, the very first one, negative 4. And now plus 3i and minus 3i. So we have 3 roots, or zeros or x-intercepts, whatever you want to call them. But we can't stop there. They said in the end, see right here, they said to break it down, didn't they? They said, go ahead and break it down. You can see right there. They want us to write it like this, like parenthesis things multiplied together. How do we do that? Well, you can see right here from the notes. This is all the notes right here. Notes, step page 1, page 2. Says, here's the zeros. And this example I'm giving in the notes. If asked to write in factored form, write x minus each 0. So for example, if you have negative 4, it's going to be x minus negative 4. And then this 3 plus I root 3 over 2, it's x minus that. And this 3 minus I root 3, then this x minus that. So it's x minus x minus x minus with parentheses for each 0 or factor. So we go, okay. So then it's going to be x minus, and x minus. And remember it says p of x in the front. It says write it out. You know, notice what it says, and let me be clear on this. It says be sure to write the full equation, including p equals like p of x equals blah, blah, blah. So we got to do all that. So I'm going to write p of x equals. We got to have the left side also. Then put them in there. Negative 4 plus 3i minus 3i. So let's clean that up. That's p of x equals. So x, the double negative here, is plus 4. Whoops, kind of scribbly 4 there. And this will be x minus 3i, right? Minus a plus, which is minus. And this is minus a minus, so it's plus 3i. And there we go. That's what we're going to type in. If you were to, excuse me, multiply that all out, you would get back to our original polynomial. That's the breakdown. We just like when you take a 30 and you break it down and say it's 5 times 2 times 3, those are the 3 pieces in a 30. We just did the same thing. We started with the whole polynomial right here, wrote down all 4 of its coefficients, and then divided by x minus 4 with synthetic or false or fake division. And then we got the remainder. So it's like dividing by 5 and getting a 6. And we took the remainder and we broke it down with the quad and got the other 2 answers. So then what do you do with these 3 zeros? It's x minus the first one, x minus the second one, and x minus the third one. That's what the notes say, and there it is cleaned up. Make sure you have the p of x on the left. Easy to forget that because they don't normally make us do the left side. And so there we go. We broke down. We were able to take a big old polynomial, x cubed plus 4x squared plus 9x plus 36, and break it all the way down into 3 terms because it was x cubed. So there's going to be 3x to the first power terms in the breakdown. And so there we go.